Queen Elizabeth II, who died at the age of 96, has always been the center of attention. 2. We have compiled some striking scenes from Elizabeth's life. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor was born on April 21, 1926, in a house in Berkeley Square, London. She was the first child of Albert, Duke of York, the second son of George V, and his wife, Elizabeth Boscawen, a former lady. In his early years the throne was not his destiny. However, it was clear from a very young age that he had a sense of responsibility. Elizabeth was educated in their home as well as her sister, Margaret Rose, born in 1930. After the abdication of King Edward VIII in 1936, Elizabeth's father, King George VI, became the monarch and Elizabeth became his heir. During the Second World War, Elizabeth and her sister Margaret were settled at Windsor Palace. This photo was taken while the two brothers were broadcasting on the BBC's Children's Hour. The young princess trained to drive in the army towards the end of the war. In 1947 she married her third cousin, Philip Mountbatten, the Duke of Edinburgh. The couple's first child, Charles, was born in 1948. Charles's sister, Anne, was born in 1950. 2. Elizabeth was very close to her mother throughout her life. They were photographed during a wedding they attended in 1951. In January 1952, Elizabeth and Philip went on an overseas tour to replace the ailing king. The king died in his sleep a few days after the start of this voyage. Elizabeth, who returned to England urgently, was only 25 years old. Queen Mary, mother of King George VI, watches her son's body being brought to Westminster Church in London. Queen Elizabeth stands next to her grandmother with her mother. Then, in June 1953, Elizabeth ascended the throne in a ceremony at Westminster Church. After the coronation from Queen II, Elizabeth and the Duke of Edinburgh stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace and greeted the public. Although Britain was under post-war austerity policies, some commentators described the coronation as the beginning of a new Elizabethan age. In this photo, Queen Elizabeth II is seen climbing the stairs of the Opera House in Paris, the capital of France. In 1957, the Queen made her first call to the nation broadcast on television for Christmas. Their attitudes towards British society and the monarchy were also changing. The term monarchy gradually gave way to the definition of royal family. The Queen is under the scrutiny of the public during a visit to Crawley New Town, Sussex, in 1958. Between official talks, Elizabeth spent time with her family. In this photo he is at Windsor Palace with his daughter Princess Anne. The Queen presents the trophy to Bobby Moore, captain of England's national team, who beat West Germany 4-2 in the 1966 World Cup. In October 1966, a landslide disaster occurred in the village of Aberfan in Wales, in which 144 people, 116 of whom were children, lost their lives. The Queen visited the village after the disaster on October 26. These moments of the Queen, who was visibly distressed, remain one of the most emotional moments of her reign. The documentary about the royal family was first broadcast in 1969. In an unprecedented way, the Queen and her family shared a year's worth of footage of their private and public life with the audience. The Queen has officially proclaimed her son, Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, at a ceremony held at Caernarfon Castle. Although Charles received the title at the age of 9, the Queen insisted that her son wait until he fully understood the significance of the ceremony. During her reign, the Queen was pictured with a corgi. The royal family's ties to this breed of dog began when King George VI purchased a corgi named Dookie for his daughters in 1933. In 1977, the Queen's 25th year on the throne was celebrated. Traveling across the country, the Queen met enthusiastic crowds. The Queen visited 36 districts over 10 weeks. Avon, where people make the most of the summer weather, was among these places. He also traveled 56,000 miles around the world for the celebration. Text. The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh waved to the passenger plane that was passing low by the Royal Yacht Britannia. The Queen's public duties continued year after year. The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh are welcomed by New Zealand Maoris at the opening of the Royal New Zealand Polynesian Festival. Louis Mountbatten, Prince Philip's uncle and one of the Queen's cousins, was killed in a bomb attack by the IRA while on his boat in Ireland in August 1979. In addition to being a close family member, Lord Mountbatten has also held many senior military posts. His funeral was held at Westminster Church. Elizabeth's eldest child, Charles, married Lady Diana Spencer in 1981. Charles and Diana had 2 children, William and Harry, prior to their divorce. Diana died in a car accident in Paris in 1997. In her Christmas speech in 1992, the Queen said that the marriage of her 3 children was over and there was a fire at Windsor Castle, adding that this year was a disastrous year for her. Public opinion was against the government paying for the repair of the castle. The monarchy was on the defensive, and Buckingham Palace was open to visitors to raise funds. The Queen fired one last shot at Bisley with a standard SA-80 rifle.